So the Carnegie Corporation is the oldest private grant-making foundation in the United States, founded in 1911 by Andrew Carnegie. And unlike a lot of other foundations, we've stayed remarkably close to the mission of Andrew Carnegie. So he focused on three areas, and one of them was education. One was democracy and civic engagement, because he was an immigrant and he felt really strongly about immigrants coming to this country, becoming citizens and becoming engaged in the process. And the third is world peace. Not an insignificantly large topic, but he really felt like if people just spoke to each other more and had an understanding of each other, there would be less wars. And so the actual mission is the advancement and diffusion of knowledge and understanding. And so he felt that that was appropriate in all three of those different grant-making portions of the program. And so we in the investment office understand that we are a support function of the principal mission of the organization. A lot of other places feel very independent of their program side, but we don't. We understand that we serve the mission. And so as a result, it does inform the way we think about grants, and it actually gives us a leg up and allows us to leverage some of the things that they're expert in. That we emphasize alternatives, but not alternatives just for alternative's sake. We believe that we're looking for markets that are inefficient. We're looking for markets where we can be long-term investors and take advantage of the fact that we are a perpetual organization, and so we can work through volatility. And so that has tended to gravitate towards alternatives. We're also looking for markets where there's dispersion between the best and the worst. And so if we can be great at manager selection, which we think is one of our skill sets, that we can outperform. For a foundation of our size, we can continue to make manager selections a differentiator. And that's a function of us. We're $3.3 billion in size right now. And so we're big enough to be relevant, but small enough that we can still make investments in small managers. The other thing that makes us good at manager selection is that we try to be very transparent with our managers, and we try to pitch ourselves as advisors to those managers. So we try to be very open with them and transparent with them about how we think about the different things that they do. We encourage them to be open with us. And so we think that we built that good relationship with a lot of them. One of the most important things is that their organization fits their strategy. There has to be a consistency between the people and the team and what they're trying to pursue. That's in every dimension. So the skill set of the people have to be appropriate. The composition, the size of the team, the way they set up their approval process. There's some strategies that lend themselves to unanimous approval, and there's some that don't. And they've thought about that, and they've come up with a strategy that I think addresses all that. I think that a consistency in the way they think about their market and the way they've developed their team is something that we've found to be a clear winner. We strongly believe that diversity made a big difference in our team. And so when we look at managers, we are absolutely looking for diversity of thought in the way they put together their team, especially depending on what markets they're trying to go after. So if you tell me that you're going after consumers and you have no women on your team, then I'm going to say, do you know that women are the purchasers of 90% of the products almost? It's some outrageous amount of purchasing is done by women. Do you feel comfortable that you understand that perspective? How are you understanding and getting that perspective and trying to understand how they're thinking about it? We don't have a emerging manager program the way other people do. But what we do is that we are very open to having emerging managers in our portfolio because we tend to believe that we have more influence. They're more willing to listen to us. They're more willing to engage in a more partnership-like behavior with us. And so we tend to have, we've historically been first investors in new funds. We'll probably continue to invest in private equity. We're looking for buyout managers, small buyout managers that we think are skilled. We're looking for people who can really add value in down markets, because we think that we're not sure when the market turns, but we assume it's going to turn probably in the course of the next fund that's being raised or the current fund that's being raised, one or two of them. And so we're paying a lot of attention to that. One of the things that obviously concern us is that most of the managers in the space right now have never operated in a rising interest rate environment, and they will likely sometime in their careers be operating in a rising interest rate environment, which will be different. And so how they've learned to make money may be different than how they will make money going forward. So now we're thinking about whether or not it's the right time to go into private equity in some of the other emerging markets. We're clearly looking for markets where there's good management teams who understand sort of Western practices and have developed their funds appropriately. We're looking for good capital markets, and we're looking for good rule of law. And so if the country itself doesn't have good rule of law, we're looking for them to be willing to have maybe the international arbitration be the rule of law, or something that we can get comfortable around.